Hi, and welcome to this Formlabs dental video. I am Dr. Elisa Praderi, Senior Clinical Protocols and Key Opinion Leader Manager, and today I'm going to be talking about Dental LT Clear Resin version 2. I will cover product features, workflow, part cost, and print time. So Formlabs is a 3D printing company, but it's also a resin manufacturer that acquired Spectra in 2019. This means that Formlabs comes with an ISO 13485 certified facility for dental and medical materials development. Whenever we look at the Formlabs dental materials library, we can see that there's an extensive range of options ranging from materials that are non-biocompatible to the ones that are biocompatible, meaning that they allow users to print directly and use appliances. Today, I'm going to be covering Dental LT Clear Resin version 2. This material is our second generation Class 2A long-term biocompatible material for fabrication of occlusal splints and guards. This material first became available in June 2020 in the US and is launched in Europe on September 6, 2022. When we look to the device class, this is a Class 2A material in Europe, a Class 1 in the US. And for whenever we evaluate what printers are this material compatible, you can print with this material in the Form 3B, the Form 3B Plus, Form 2, early 2019 Form 3, and Form 3BL. The layer height setting available is of 100 microns. The price is 349 euros, US dollars, and 300 pounds. And the shelf lifetime is of 2 years. Important thing to note is that Formlabs has an MDR certified quality system and received MDR product approval for Dental LT Clear Resin version 2. This regulation that became effective last year, 2021, affects all medical devices sold in Europe, including Formlabs products. What does this mean, and then what changes? The labeling, that's the first thing. So MDR labeling is different from MDD and should include an MD symbol signifying that the product is a medical device, the importer name, the unique device identification, and instructions for use with clinical benefits, residual risks, and other Annex 1 requirements. As this material is a Class 2A, it needs an EC certificate issued by a notified body and a declaration of conformity, which are the two documents you can see here on the right-hand side. Under MDR, dental labs and practices are now considered manufacturers. So that means that any part that they produce and constitutes a medical device must be made under an established quality system. That means that manufacturers must meet all applicable items from the general safety and performance requirements, comply with all post-market requirements, register as a device manufacturer, this is territory specific, write up an Annex 13 statement, and appoint a person responsible for regulatory compliance. Formlabs can help customers meet the general safety and performance requirements as established in Annex 1 of MDR by providing on request a certificate of analysis that shows the batch control and quality, and a certificate of compliance that shows conformance to Annex 1. How is this material better than the version 1, the previous generation? So you can see here a side-by-side occlusal splint printed in Dental LT Clear version 2 on the left and Dental LT Clear version 1 on the right. So the first evident difference is the color and clarity. The version 2 has a color clarity similar to PMMA like we're using milling with yellowing resistance. The material is still used to fabricate hard occlusal splints. But when we look a little bit more into details, we know that this is a biocompatible resin for long-term use, the parts that are printed, and printed in 100 microns layer height settings. Those are the similarities of both materials. But when we talk about the differences, we can see that the price is one of the differences. Also, the Dental LT Clear Resin version 2 is a Class 2A certified under MDR. That it has it's 60% less yellow. And when we evaluate the mechanical properties, it has a 50% higher impact strength. It means that it's less brittle. And also there's some minor differences in the post-curing process for Dental LT Clear version 2 compared to version 1. And also the support touch points are different. When we look at the digital workflow to fabricate an occlusal splints, we will start with the scanning, the first step that is scanning the patient. So we will capture the data via the means of an intraoral scanner or by a traditional impression and using a desktop scanner. And we will also register a desired construction byte or byte registration. We will then take those files and proceed to the design phase. So we provide some general, let's say, settings for software such as 3Shape and ExoCAD But the important thing to note are the general construction requirements for an occlusal splint. So the minimal sidewall thickness, the recommended values, it's 1 millimeter. That should be the minimum thickness. And for the occlusal surface thickness, it should be of 2 millimeters at least. The next stage would be to fabricate the parts. So in this case, we're going to export our STL file from the CAD design software and import it into Preform. So we're going to import our file and we're going to orient it in such a way that the occlusal surface is parallel to the build platform. Then we're going to use the automatic feature for auto generation of support structures. As you can see here, the touch point size is of 0.3 millimeters. These have been optimized for Dental LT Clear version 2. And for example, one of the differences in Dental LT Clear version 1 is that the touch point size is of 0.45 millimeters. So this means that with smaller touch points, you are going to be able to remove the supports in a much easier way. After we place our splints in a space, we're going to press the orange button in order to print. We're going to set up our printer by placing a resin tank, build platform, and cartridge, and with those 3 elements, we're able to print. The important thing to note is that as we're printing with a material that it's biocompatible, we need to have a dedicated resin tank and build platform in order to print. This is to avoid also cross-contamination of the material. As you can see, this is how the printing process will look like, and once we're done, we're able to remove the build platform from the printer, and this is how it will look like with the splints in the build platform. Then we will move to the post-processing stages, which in this case, we're going to remove the occlusal splints from the build platform. We're going to place them in the basket in the Form Wash. It's an automatic washing station, also by Formlabs. And we're going to wash them for 15 minutes in IPA 99% concentration or higher. Then we're going to remove the parts and do a second wash for an extra 5 minutes in fresh IPA. Then it's nice to use compressed air in order to remove any remaining IP on the surfaces, and then allow parts to dry for at least 30 minutes. Once the drying period is over, we're going to post-cure the part in the Form Cure for 60 degrees Celsius for 60 minutes. This will allow the material to achieve its final mechanical properties and biocompatibility. Then we're going to finish and deliver our part. So we're going to remove the support structures, use polishing tools to remove any indentations or sharp edges that remain upon the surface. And we're going to use classic polishing tools like the traditional tools are okay in order to achieve high polishing and gloss of the printed part. This is how a final part will look like as an example. Whenever we talk about cleaning and disinfection, it's important to note that for fully post-processed parts, these can be cleaned using a dedicated soft toothbrush with neutral soap and at room temperature water. Do not use toothpaste or any abrasive cleaning products. That's very important, and because this might affect the surface finish and also patient comfort. And always inspect parts, in the integrity of the part to check that they're free of cracks or any damages. As for disinfection, you need to follow facility protocols, but the tested method of disinfection includes soaking the finished part in fresh IPA at 70% concentration for 5 minutes. Important not to leave the part in the alcohol solution for longer than that period of time. As for cost per part, so we can estimate that a splint, including the support structures, which will be approximately a 20% waste, will range around $4 to $5 or euros per splint. As for productivity, you can print 1 splint in around 1 hour and 6 splints in around 3 hours, 45 minutes. If you want to learn more, you can visit our website, dental@formlabs.com. And if you want to see a printed part, you can request a free sample part in our website. So hope you enjoyed this video and see you later.